Well, guys, the day has finally arrived. I am back to reacting to another Monster Truck event as we get ready to wrap up the Monster Jam 2001 season. As we just watched the Pontiac event, the season finale, with insane racing, although the freestyle was a bit lackluster. But now it's time to this, the championship. World Finals 2 probably still is one of the greatest World Finals ever, and how insane it is. As, oh man, I remember watching this event that night on pay-per-view, which you youngins apparently did not get to experience. You only got to see like the DVD, VHS, and TNN errands. I got to see the whole experience live on pay-per-view. So you all get a treat because I'm going to react to the original pay-per-view Aaron. Exactly. Yep, have it on my computer for like the last 10 years. And I watched it last week to make sure it was all good and everything. And by and large, it is. Although there's some edits that the person uploaded I don't think did a good job with, but it's good. It has everything and such. So we're going to get to it, and I'll talk about all the details and stuff that happened to it. And of course, this is going to be all racing, and it's going to be all unedited. I'm going to watch it. No leaving or going forward or anything. It's going to be the exact experience. We're going to experience the whole 30-minute preview before the event happens, and we're going to see all of racing. And then tomorrow, March 24th, 2026, the exact 25th anniversary of World Finals 2, we're going to watch freestyle, and I'm going to have the time of my life seeing Monster Trucks doing what they do best. Oh man, what a season we saw. Tom, of course, got the points championship, and he doubled down in Pontiac before the season ended, as he's going to try and defend his racing title and get the freestyle title. Dennis is, of course, trying to defend his freestyle title. And we got more trucks, too, here as well. And a very intense track. Man, I remember that night, too, like I said. Me and Terrell, we were all getting ready to go to watch the event and all that. And then we fell asleep, of course. Thankfully, by a miracle, I woke up like a few seconds before Predator came out there, and I was able to watch all of freestyle. And I'll cherish that moment forever, being able to watch that incredible event. So I hope you're all ready for this. I hope you're all youngins are ready for this, because you'll get to experience one of the greatest Monster Truck events ever, and you'll get to hear the history and stuff that I can provide and such. So, here we go. Time to watch World Finals 2 racing.
Las Vegas, Nevada, a town full
So as I said, this is a 30-minute intro before the event goes on TV. See, 10 p.m. Because the event actually started at 10 p.m., but the pay-per-view started 10:30 instead, so it gave like a half an hour like behind as it happened and such. Oh man, this video is 3 hours long, but like I said, we're only going to watch the intro and racing, and tomorrow will be freestyle. Oh man, feel so excited watching this again. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be like 40 minutes or so before we get to actually racing. So if you want to get right to racing, you're going to have to skip like 40 plus minutes ahead of time. Even when this promo ends, we're still going to get to like 10 minutes before racing starts. You see a preview of the track so far, as it's a tense track. And I'm pretty sure this was like filmed like on qualifying night. You saw like the track getting updated such for like qualifying. Although one thing I wanted to maybe take a look at the track again when I get around to it.
I saw it last year. I was here, and it's so exciting for me. I know it was exciting for you.
Oh man.
Kate Milliken, you were
Yeah,
not here last
I didn't see race until that next morning when my dad gave me the VHS tape.
Absolutely, and I can tell already just looking at the track, you know, it's an outdoor stadium. There's a whole unique setup to the track, but most importantly, from my experience of being around all these monster truck drivers, they all have been talking about this event and how great it's going to be. So it's very obvious to me it's the pinnacle, and if you check us out, you're going to find out it's the pinnacle
Yep,
too.
it is. This event is extreme by 2001 standards, and I still feel it hangs up to this day.
It's going to be twice as good this year. It's year 2. We've got a strong Goldberg truck, of course.
Yeah, look at that track so far. We got the box fan. We got a railroad car, which never been done before. There's a van stack over there on the side, which you don't see, and a semi-trailer, and a motocross ramp to the side of the box fan. This track is gigantic, extreme back then. Like, to put this in perspective, that box fan in most events would be the biggest obstacle out there. It's not the biggest obstacle. It's not the second biggest obstacle. You can even debate it might even be the third biggest obstacle. It's like one of the smaller obstacles out there. That's how extreme this track is by 2001 standards.
Sit down and check out and see what really a monster truck is, how they're built.
So now we're gonna see how monster trucks are, which of course we all know as huge fans of the sport. But hey, it's always fun watching this beautiful stuff. So here we go.
They
started as heavy steel car-crushing machines. But mechanical innovations and
so
new
beautiful.
technology combined to help create the extreme machines we call monster trucks.
Well, the chassis is pretty much the backbone of the truck. I mean, like if you take a gravedigger truck, what you see here that's painted green is what we call the chassis. I mean, it consists of
Okay.
the mainframe, the
I'm also a
down there,
little bit nervous now I just realized it, although by the time you get this video up, it won't be a big deal. But I remembered yesterday after I filmed Pontiac, I decided to do an experiment, and I uploaded this footage on YouTube to see if it would get past copyright, and of course it didn't. But I just remembered one of the claims was over audio for upcoming part here in Indianapolis 2000 when Robbie Gray talks to Dan Moriarty, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. So maybe I'll try and talk over it to try and, prevent it from being happening and all that. But yeah, I cannot wait. Just like another 30-something minutes, we're going to see beautiful racing action. Tom trying to defend his racing title and all that. And we'll see the other 15 drivers give it their all to try and win tonight. They worked all season for this moment, and it's come down to this. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, here's a really funny story, too. This is how stupid I was, too, back then. I thought, going into that event, that everything was going to be just like World Finals 1. I thought it was going to be the exact same field as World Finals 1 and the exact same track as World Finals 1. I thought it was going to be the exact same thing in every regard. Which, honestly, thinking, soon afterwards, seems even sillier because, I didn't see NWO once this season, so why would NWO show up but not be seen and all that? So, that was a little bit odd thought in my head back then that everything's gonna be the same, and it's a good thing at least on the track wise I was wrong on it because this event destroys World Finals 1 in every single way. Oh man, all I can say is I cannot wait for this. It's going to be insane. But it just sucks I have to talk over it instead of listen to what's going on. But I'd rather be safe, make sure it doesn't get copyright claim. Oh man, I would be very angry if this got copyright claimed and such. That would be very rage-inducing. Oh man, but you know how failed it is with copyright. Even it is fair. Well, I am providing commentary, so what's wrong with that?
Now we are down here, Kate and Dan, on the floor, seeing them up close and personal. But the guys who are calling the action, the experts in the booth, who are going to guide.
But yeah, they're getting ready for qualifying most likely.
And freestyle, Mike Hogwood, Scott Douglas, experts, friends, gentlemen, take it away.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan. And it is great to be here in Las Vegas for Monster Jam World Finals 2, and I hope you plan to be a part of it with
man,
us.
I cannot
you need to
wait.
Order now. You see that clock ticking down. Scott,
It's going to be one wild event and such as we're getting ready for it and such.
No question about it. And you've got this lineup, the 16 superstars, the greatest field ever put together in a Monster Jam event. But they didn't want to just get here. They wanted to get here and win it all. There are 2 world championships on the line, so we'll crown 2 new champions, or maybe one truck will get them both.
And everybody thinks it's going to be them. Now, they've got to negotiate, Scott, a tough track. A track, I think, worthy of the World Finals. It is fast. It is challenging. Scott, it's going to be a true test for our monster truck drivers tonight.
Well, it is. And again, if you didn't see World Finals 1, then you're going to get a new experience right here. And we're going to take you down to ground level as they come down Thunder Alley. Like they'll reach speeds previously never seen on a turning course up to 65, 70 miles an hour before they get into the turn and hit the binder.
Yeah, and you know what they've got to do is they've got to slow that truck down to make that turn. I think, again, that is going to be the key tonight in the head-to-head competition is getting that truck slowed down and turned. They turn all 4 wheels. It is going to be something to see here on this course tonight. Now, we've talked a lot, Scott, about the 16 trucks who are here. Every one of them, I think, has a shot at it tonight. They are all strong. Best field I've ever seen for a monster truck event.
So now we're going to see the field.
We're going to start by taking a look at a team gambling here in Las Vegas. Figure that out. The Marble
So first up would be Gary Porter. We saw him just drive Rayton Steele in Jacksonville. He's going to be in Spider-Man. Elton Depew, we just saw his incredible run in Pontiac in Bulldozer, of course. This is the first time I've seen Gary Porter drive. This is the first time I've seen Spider-Man drive. This is the first time I've seen Elton Depew drive. And of course, Brian Barwolf Wolverines here. And of course, there's Sting, Tony Farrell. This will be the first time, though, I know about him driving Sting this season since New Orleans was later on. And of course, Alan Pizzo and Predator. Surprised he made the World Finals despite his struggles most of the year. And of course, Mr. Excitement, Jim Colin Avenger, future freestyle champion. We know what wild season he had this year. John Seasock, Sudden Impact, future racing champion as well. And of course, Jill Cadusa Wrenchhead, which we never saw this season at all, so no one knows anything about it. And of course, Mike Fodders, Black Stallion, freestyle will be the first time I got to see him other than MTM 6 Monster Truck Madness 64. And of course, Medusa. And then Scott Hartsock and Gunslinger. Remember, made the championship last year. And of course, Lyle Hancock. This was the first time I've seen him in Blue Thunder besides Houston. And then Pablo Humdinger in Blacksmith. This will be the first time seeing Blacksmith. Although we've seen Pablo, but not once this year. Dan Evans and Destroyer making the championship. And of course, Dennis Anderson trying to defend his title in Grave Digger 14. And finally, Tom Meents and Goldberg. It's last event too. Actually, no, that's not. No, Goldberg competed in events after later on 2001, but this is the last time we're going to see it. Before Tom eventually goes to Team X.
And Dennis Anderson are the favorites here, and they have kind of preyed on each other a little bit.
I actually wouldn't argue going to this event if I was watching every single event that Dennis is the favorite. Tom is, but I would argue Bardo might have a better chance. Scott Hartsock, maybe Lyle. Dennis is like a little bit too inconsistent all year, especially on 14.
Dennis Anderson says, wait a minute, the old guy isn't ready to go away just yet.
Yeah, Tom Meents and Dennis Anderson both believe that tonight is their night, and they are dead set on proving it here in Vegas. For many years, there was only one man atop the monster truck world. He was, of course, Dennis Anderson, driver of
showing footage of Lyle driving, I'm pretty sure.
He was there when monster truck racing first began, and for nearly 2 decades, he was uncontested as king of the monsters. But last year, wrestling champion Goldberg picked a young driver named Tom Meents to drive his brand new monster truck. And the rest, they say, is history. Since then, Dennis Anderson and Tom Meents have been number 1 and 1A. Everyone else is just spinning his wheels trying to keep up. Last season, it appeared that Goldberg had the upper hand.
It wasn't appeared. Tom was just a goat.
Were unable to prevent Tom Meents from winning event after event. But by the time the World Finals came around, Anderson was back at full strength. After Meents drove Goldberg to victory in the race, Dennis Anderson showed why he is the master of the sport. He unleashed a wicked freestyle to claim his own world championship.
Hard to believe it was his only one, too.
The rivalry to a fever pitch. And when the new Grave Digger truck struggled out of the box, Meents felt that Anderson's best days were behind him.
He's washed up, and all he's living on now is his legend and his name. That's the fact.
Cocky Tom Meents as always.
But in the days leading up to tonight's World Finals, Digger was looking like the Grave Digger of old, pulling off a double win in Houston.
Undeserved freestyle win. I'll still say Bartle should have won that. But Dennis was dominant that night in racing.
When he's off guard, he'll see the old man will get him one day.
He did beat him in Houston, remember, the first event. Yeah, they showed how Dennis and Tom did in 2001. Dennis got 2 racing wins, 2 freestyle wins, 7 freestyle wins. Tom got 7 racing wins and 8 freestyle wins.
With a world championship they're defending.
And Dennis Anderson has been running.
God, Tom won freestyle like in every single event, except.
Order now. Be a part of it with us.
I think he won every freestyle except for
Now, last year at this time, don't forget
Minneapolis, the second show, and Jacksonville. I think he won every other freestyle with only a tie being different.
Detroit, Silverdome.
All right, here we go. We just saw this what happened last time out in Pontiac when Dennis got injured. Now he's going to talk about it. Because remember, this is the first time almost anyone outside of that event heard about this.
Which makes no difference. We're here at the World Finals. I'm going to do what it takes to win this thing. And when I was in Michigan at the Silverdome, I just took a really weird slap in the truck, jumped in the air, one hit. It hit really hard sideways, and it bent the framework in the seat and hit me in my rib cage, so it knocked the wind out of me, and it actually kind of blacked me out. I didn't get knocked out or faint or whatever everybody was saying, but it hurt my neck really bad. And once I crushed the seat over, seat belts come loose, so that was the end of freestyle. And I was just sitting there hunting, trying to catch my breath is what the deal was. But I was over in about 5 days. I did bruise some ribs. Feel really good. We just put a brand new seat in the truck. Got a little different wraparound deal than I was running.
Yeah, but it's a
before.
good
We've been
thing, because
trying
that was 2
different
weeks
seats.
before World
But,
Finals 2, remember, so that was
I'm here to
pretty
take it out the gate.
scary
Regardless of
heading
what
into the World
happened,
Finals
2
if
weeks ago.
Dennis would be okay. But of course, almost all of us wouldn't have even known about this other than people in Pontiac.
Wondering, how's this guy standing here? A world
But it's good to see
champion, you
Dennis
gotta
is
come back
healthy
right
again
away.
and get ready to defend his title and maybe get a racing title
Last year you
tonight.
came back, you won the freestyle. This year you were running strong all year, freestyle and racing. What can we expect tonight?
Well, who knows? I don't even know what to expect, but I do know this. I brought everybody from the North Carolina shop. I've got all my crew here. I've got all the digger trucks here. I've actually got 4 trucks on standby. So whatever it takes, I want to win this thing and I want to take it out the door.
As you and Homer begin to realize these are the World Finals, this is everything to these men, to these teams, and this machinery. Let's now go to, well, Kate Milliken, who's going to talk a little bit about Mr. Tom Meents and what Goldberg has in store for Gravedigger.
Well, it's obvious that Dennis Anderson is ready to go, but so is Tom Meents. Here's a guy that's not planning on resting on his laurels from his win at the Monster Jam Finals last year.
And he's ready to go after doubling down in Pontiac.
Tom Meents and Goldberg have become the gold standard on the monster truck circuit in 2001. The Illinois native has driven the futuristic SUV to the
Tom
top
is
of
the GOAT.
in both racing and
In a lot of ways, it
freestyle.
feels like
Winning
this year
our
Tom was
gold
even more
cup.
dominant than 2000, which is
Fans
odd,
along the way.
crazy, with more
He paved the
competition.
way for this year's success with a breathtaking performance and a victory in racing at the 2000 World Championship here in Las Vegas. He's in perfect position to claim twin titles this time around.
I tell you what, I'm going to give it all it's got, you know, and that's just where the cards lie, and do your best you can, and, you know, we're going to take all our
Hardly
crew out
just
there and
16
keep
minutes
trucks,
ago,
we're gonna
people.
back up,
16
and we're gonna
minutes.
go for blood, and hopefully we can come out on top again.
That incredible leap he had in Indianapolis.
Tom Meents,
By the way,
the moment
that was the
that
footage.
you
I was looking for
spoke
that
about
jump
the championship
for
finals.
the
You
Indianapolis
talked about how you're gonna
freestyle
jump higher, and
thumbnail, and I could never find it, so I had to go back on the
Are you
archive
ready?
and watch his run again to that part and such. That was very frustrating.
Way for nothing, you know. We're excited to be here. Drove 27 hours. What more can you say? Here we are.
I agree. I feel the same way. And are there anything that you're a little feared about, a little scared about?
Absolutely not, but I tell you what, we got some of the absolute best drivers in the world here tonight. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you so much, Tom Meents. And now let's go back to my favorite co-host, Dan Moriarty, who is standing right by. Dan?
Well, as you can tell from hearing those two gentlemen talk to us, the battle lines have been drawn, but don't forget, there's 14 other trucks out here, and they happen to be the other 14 best in the world. So these 16 drivers and 16 trucks are going to be going at it all night. And you know what? If you just sit there and you watch the clock tick away and you don't order, you're going to miss it all. Come on, it's going to be fantastic. You got to get on. You got to get the paper.
I agree. Maybe they
Make
should
sure
do
you
that
watch
again.
right
But then
now.
again, they do have him
Look at
live
some
now
of
the
the
last
stuff to be
2 World
happening
Finals,
tonight
which is
from last
the right
year's World
decision.
Finals, just to
They
kinda
should
give
never
you a
stop
taste.
doing that. That was a smart decision to have it live and such. Yeah, preview from last year's World Finals. Man, cannot wait to watch World Finals 2 again.
Well, Kate, I got to tell you, this past year has been real exciting for me. It's your first year here. Give me your review of 2001.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, everyone keeps talking about Gravedigger and
2000 was a
Goldberg.
wild
I mean,
season.
Obviously, they're incredible trucks, but what has struck me so much is the fact that there are all these other trucks that keep fighting to tear them down, and the struggle, and all the fumes and jumps, and it's just, it's really been incredible. Just the amount of energy that people are putting into their trucks, and the amount of competition has been incredible.
Can you tell how excited she is? Imagine how excited you're going to be right now.
Now imagine me as a 7-year-old that night in March 2001 getting ready for this. Although, like I said, I didn't see his preview at all.
Monster truck racing has never seen a year like 2001. Not only have the two bright lights in the sport, Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger, and Tom Meents and Goldberg, risen to unparalleled heights, literally, but a host of new and not so new drivers have burst upon the scene to thrill fans.
2000 footage.
As expected, Gravedigger and Goldberg grabbed the lion's share of the headline. Dennis Anderson followed up his win in freestyle at last year's World Finals with a win in the season.
God, what a wild race that was in Houston.
Second over Tom Mintz.
Goodness, that was
Then
insane.
Anderson unveiled a brand new Gravedigger truck. Worked out the bugs, and by the end of the year, he had gotten all the kinks out and was back to his usual
Not
level
really.
of excellence. While Goldberg wowed the crowd week in and week out, turning the fastest times in racing and ripping off an unprecedented run of perfect freestyle scores to run away with the points championship. There were other performances worthy of note during this season. Longtime Little Tiger driver Brian Bartle took the controls of the brand new Marvel Comics Wolverine machine. He thrilled his home state crowd at the Metrodome.
Yeah, that was a wild race too.
In the final to win the racing competition. Speaking of new trucks, Lyle
Yep,
Hansen
wow, when he debuted in
won
Houston, that was
earlier this year in
insane.
Houston. Driving the built Ford Tops Blue Thunder truck, he not only won the race, he followed that up a week later with a perfect 30 in freestyle. Both of those drivers will be here tonight.
God.
As will Eldon.
And then, of course, you saw Elton the Pew last time out, remember?
Detroit, while driving Bulldozer for the very first time on Monster Jam, achieved some of the biggest air in monster truck history.
Beautiful.
With this 40-plus foot plunge to the Silverdome floor. Eldon was shaken, but not stirred. The bull was missing a horn, but the crowd was roaring its approval.
Look at that beautifulness
Typical of
from a
the
monster
excitement
truck,
created
people.
by the monster trucks this season.
Oh man, that's just part of the drivers. And of course, we get a preview of what happened here, a recap.
11, count them, freestyle champions and 11 racing champions. Of course, freestyle sometimes, well, they tie 30 each, 29, 28 each. But you know what? The dominant guy is Goldberg, Gravedigger. Also, you had Blue Thunder and Gunslinger. This guy, though, that Kate's with, check him out, the Wolverine.
Yeah, they give interviews for some of the drivers, but one thing I wish they did is, I wish they gave every driver here an interview before the event, especially someone like Jill Canuso, who we never seen before. I think it's very unprofessional of them not to give everyone a chance to give us their thoughts before the event, especially drivers we've never seen before. I think that that really bugs me. I got really mad rewatching that part, not getting a chance to hear other perspectives.
Machine debuted by Marvel Comics with Brian Bartle at the wheel. Since debuting the customized Chevy in Indy in mid-season, the Minnesota native has been one of the
Yep, ever since Bartle went to Wolverine, he's been unbelievable in racing.
Had to be a big win in his home state at the Metrodome, upsetting Goldberg in a photo finish. Brian thinks that there may be more wins in his immediate future.
I'm going to concentrate on the racing until the racing's over. And if there's anything left for the truck, we're going to freestyle it till there's nothing left.
If he's going to be a big threat tonight. And also, he's the #1 qualifier tonight. He's the #1 qualifier for 2001, just like Tom was last year. So he's going to be a threat tonight in
Now you're
racing.
driving, and when you're one of the top 16 trucks.
10 minutes to
what's
go,
gonna be the
people.
biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge is running clean rounds of racing and trying to work my way to the finals.
Well, we will definitely be watching. Brian Bartle, someone to look for with this brand new truck. Check him out.
And of course, now, Mr. Excitement! I was expecting, Kohler. I mean, not Kohler,
The
Lyle.
Avenger Chevrolet. The Michigan native is one of the most successful independent owner drivers in the monster
Yep,
truck
future
industry.
two-time freestyle
Kohler
champ.
built this green machine himself, and he doesn't mind tearing it up to please the crowd. Witness this wild flip a few weeks back in Detroit. Kohler has what it takes to make his mark here in Las Vegas.
This year, we have that pent-up frustration and aggravation, and we'll fight up. We're going to definitely, Assembly Stadium's not going to be the same when we leave there. That's all there is to say about that.
And now I'm here with a guy named Jim Kohler, Avenger. If you haven't seen him all year, it's a brand new outfit he's got on here. The guy rock and rolls. However, recently, back in Detroit, Silverdome, you tore the truck up. Is it ready to go? And you know what? Knowing you, it's Vegas, baby. It's time to let it all hang out.
Oh, it's definitely Vegas. The truck's definitely ready. We had time to get her back together. This is Vegas. This is where all the trucks are here. The top 16. These boys are going down. I'm here. I worked hard all year. We're tearing it up. We're letting them. We're not holding back a thing. We're going for it.
When you talk about tearing it up, people should know he's an independent driver. He runs his own show. He pays for his own show. I mean, you are it, baby. You tear it up. It's all on you. However, when you're here in Vegas, what do the fans here and the fans at home bring out in a guy like you? Because it's the energy of Avenger that they come screaming to see.
Mr. Excitement!
Fans are the main energy. I do The truck is all me when I wreck it, when I hurt it. I have some good sponsors that help out with a lot of stuff. If we had a big backing, we could really get crazy. But the fans, when those fans start cheering and they get me pumped, I lose.
Which
all
they almost
track
never
if I
do
got
anymore because all the
money to
fans are
spend on
boring,
it.
pretty much.
Doesn't
Then again, they're watching
hang
Ford
out,
Boss
man.
Champ, pretty much. I wouldn't blame them.
The people that
Unlike
go to the
this
TV
event.
show, I get it all the place. Oh my gosh, you're the Avenger. I'm letting it happen. That's what they want to see. That's what they're going to get.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Now, people with a personality like that, with a truck like he's got, with the trucks behind me, how can you not look at this clock and realize, oh my God, I got to order this thing right now. I got to see Jim Kohler. I got to see Avenger. I want to see him go crazy for the fans here, for the fans at home.
I agree perfectly with that. You got to be a nut not to watch this event because monster trucks are beautiful.
For your 6 best trucks.
Especially this event we're going to be seeing. And then, of course, tomorrow when I react to freestyle.
All right? Now, the guys are going to, once again, bring you through all this great action. Mike Hogwood, Scott Douglas. Guys.
Thanks a lot, Dan, and I echo what you say. Let's order now. Let's be a part of it tonight. Now, we want to go back 1 year ago. Who was dominant? I have him right here in the palm of my hand.
Mike, stop making me jealous.
Ran over the competition.
Me as a 7-year-old having my giant diecast collection by then, even though it was still tiny by then because they started diecast like in the summer of 2000. But I remember like Goldberg, Gravedigger, Sting, Nitro. I had all of them back then. Every single one of them I had. Oh man, all the events I would do with Hot Wheels cars to crush.
1 year ago, 2 unstoppable forces collided. Take 16 of the most powerful monster trucks in the world and combine them with the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas, and the results were spectacular. First ever Monster Jam World Finals thrilled a capacity crowd at Sam Boyd Stadium and left a whole truckload of great.
By the way, that was the only footage we ever saw of Reptoid 2 pretty much, because that's what Jim did. He came out, truck died, and that was it. He got a 4, which no one ever got again until Craig Christian got 7 years from now. And also, I don't even argue that's necessarily an upset because Dennis struggled most of the year, and Stevens did beat Dennis early in the year. Remember?
Another surprise was Scott Hartsock in the Gunslinger Ford.
It's not a surprise. He was like the only other elite driver besides Tom that year. That's not a surprise.
But Gunslinger finally fired a blank with the title on the line. Goldberg's got it. Goldberg wins the world final. Goldberg grabbed the victory and his first world championship. But the night was far from done. The trucks that survived.
Beautiful destruction. Let's go.
Pour it up in some wild freestyle. Talk about exciting. The first lady of monster trucks and fan favorite Medusa made it to freestyle, and she promptly put her Medusa truck on its lid to the delight of the crowd. Some of the stunts were beyond belief.
And of course, Lyle.
Veteran Lyle Hancock was
Although I still believe that as insane as this move is, I don't think he should have been runner-up. I think Rob Nell should have had second place instead. Lyle just did not really have any momentum in comparison.
Gravedigger was the truck to beat, and he didn't disappoint. Bouncing back from his loss in head-to-head racing to pull off an unbelievable freestyle.
All right.
He saved it. No! He came so close to saving that from going over. And he earned the Freestyle World Championship.
And he's only won 2. Hard to believe.
Now, I know during this racing
Under
season,
5
many of
minutes.
you logged on to USHRA.com and entered our Pick 6 competition. You helped select the drivers who are here in Las Vegas tonight. But did you win the big prize? In order to find out, you're
And like I said before, I don't agree with I don't agree with how they did back then. Top 10 drivers get in and the last 6 are picked by fans. I don't like that. It should be strictly whoever had the most points gets in, end of discussion. Just like an MTWS.
Order now. Now, Ken Hutchins is here. He's the Vice President of Marketing with SFX Motorsports Group. Wow, we've got them from all over here tonight coming to watch Monster Jam World Finals 2.
Yeah, this has really turned into an unbelievable event. This is the family spring break destination. We have people from...
Yep, just like I went to World Finals 4, 5, 6, and 8.
Even from England.
Man, I cannot wait to react to those World Finals eventually. That way you get my perspective on who was at those events.
$1 of economic impact for the city. This is really an amazing event.
It is, and we're expecting a full house, 35,000 here in Sam Boyd Stadium.
And I'm jealous of every single one of them getting to be this event live, unlike me. At least I got to watch it live, unlike you youngins.
Moriarty right now.
Yeah, it's funny because... Oh, that's right, he's about to talk to Lyle. I don't hear
Mike,
this.
you mentioned that
Remember, he was the runner-up for the
350
freestyle title last year, and he's
I'm
been
here with a
dominant
guy
racing
who was
most of the
built
year,
for
other
Ford
than Pontiac.
And drives the built Ford tough truck Blue Thunder, Lau Hancock. Now, you guys out there in TV land only saw him boiling a couple times this season, but when you saw him in Houston, he won the racing, the freestyle.
He swept.
You're hiding in the weeds on us, Lyle. You got some tricks up your sleeve tonight?
Well, I tell you what, we've been out there with some of the other competition, running all over the United States. We keep dialing the truck in, you know, keeping behind the scenes a little bit. We're trying to make sure that it's all put together and all right when we get here for the World Finals. Everything counts here. I mean, this is like the biggest of the baddest of the best. So you walk away from here with a title, you have done what it takes to do
Man,
it.
I cannot
When
wait.
you walked away last year, you were in the wrenchhead.com truck, and you put on a show in the freestyle that still has the audience that was here, the audience at home on the pay-per-view, and your fellow drivers gasping. It's a year later.
Yep.
What can you do to top those moves you did in the new Blue Thunder truck?
I'll tell you what, you know, we got a good sponsor behind us. We got plenty of money to put into this truck, a lot of research and development in it. We raised the ladder of level.
Man, it would be
of
nice if
success
Blue
last
Thunder
year.
was around again.
We did something.
And if
that
Blue
none
Thunder
of
comes
these
back,
other
I
bigger
really hope
trucks.
they would
There's lots of
not only go back to
options
maybe
out there
that
this
design
year, and on
that
a
they had from
scale
like
of 1 to
2001 to
10, there's a whole bunch of
2011.
sixes,
I would like it if they
freestyle,
went back to
a whole
that
bunch of
very
eights,
original
and there's
design when
nine,
they debuted in
and
Houston,
there's
like
a 10. And I'll
almost
tell you
all
what,
black
people
with like
that
no light on. That would be like a cool
are gonna have to
design
figure
once
out
to
which
see that
ones to
again.
attend, because that's
But
the
here we go.
one
We're
I'll
down to the
do.
final 2 minutes
Thank you, Lyle.
before the World Finals.
Now listen out there, we are 2 minutes of show time.
Oh, man, I
As you can
cannot
tell,
wait.
The sun has come down. The lights are up. The city of lights is rocking. These gentlemen,
As they're getting ready for
these
qualifying,
trucks are
most likely.
to light up Las Vegas. So you've got to get on there and order now. Let's go back upstairs to Mike Hogwood and Scott Douglas for the countdown.
Oh man, here we go, people. Just a minute and a half
Thanks
left.
a lot, Dan. And Scott, one of the things I read every week is on USHRA.com, and it's Scott Douglas's column. And this week you have handicapped the field. Who we think's going to do well? Do it for
Well,
us.
we're in Vegas, so I tried to play handicapper, and I guess we'll start with the freestyle first, and that's where I like Gravedigger. I have to make him the favorite. Gravedigger at 3-2. Now,
I
Goldberg is
disagree
gonna
with that.
dog
My
it
favorite
all
would
night
probably
at
been
2-1. You see, I
Tom.
like
I
Blue
think
Thunder,
I would have had
but
Tom
she's
probably
gonna
all
surprise
night.
people. She's so popular already, and she has no fear. She's got a shot to win it. I won't be surprised if she wins it all. And then Bulldozer, 6-1 is going to be a good one. But in the racing, you flip it around. Goldberg, I'll tell you, he's almost even money to me. I'm going to make him 9-5. Gunslinger's the number 2 choice at 3-1. But watch those other guys in the top 5. Blue Thunder, Gravedigger, Wolverine. I'll tell you, everybody here's got a shot.
Yeah. Now, you got the Gravedigger diecast. I have the Goldberg diecast. But, folks, you're not watching diecast in just a couple of minutes. We're going to be watching the real
Yes!
live
Beautiful
in Las Vegas
monster trucks!
Monster Jam World
Oh,
Finals
man!
2.
I cannot
One more time,
wait.
Let's go back down to Dan Moriarty.
Well, Mike and
Here we
Scott, I
go.
hope you guys have your little
30
die
seconds,
cast
people.
upstairs.
Although we still
are
gotta wait
done
probably
with
another
the
10 minutes before they
These
actually
are the die
race.
casts. These are the real things, and as you can tell, the smoke is already flying down here. It is showtime. You better get your pay-per-view right now. How do you feel? You're almost there, kid.
I feel great. I mean, I can't wait for the action to happen, and better, I can't wait to see Dan Moriarty in a tux. It's gonna be
Oh man,
fun.
people, 10 seconds. I've waited. We've waited a whole entire season for this. I've been waiting, God, all these years to react to this. It's now time. I'm finally going to react to World Finals 2! Here we go!
The toughest will survive.
One of the greatest monster truck events ever!
The hour is at hand.
Still one of the greatest World Finals ever, too! Maybe only World Finals 9 can challenge it. Oh my gosh!
But a win there is going to be a disappointment.
It's the Monster Jam World Finals 2.
Oh man! My body is just not ready for this even 25 years later. Man!
The best and the brightest of the Monster Jam have descended on Las Vegas. 16 of the most amazing machines with 16 of the brightest drivers, all competing for one prize.
Technically 2.
The Monster Jam World Championship. Who will fly high and who will land hard? Find out next, live from Las Vegas.
Oh man, here we go! World Finals 2!
The lights on the Las Vegas Strip never dim. This city is alive with energy and enthusiasm. And tonight, Las Vegas is ready for
As the track is ready to go, look at that insane track.
Monster Jam World Finals 2. We are live at Sam Boyd Stadium. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Hogwood along with Scott Douglas. This very special broadcast tonight coming to you live to determine the Monster Truck World Champion. 16 of the best monster trucks in the world are here. And Scott, 2 of them this season have stood a little bit above the rest. Goldberg and Tom Mintz, Gravedigger, and Dennis Anderson. Those 2 will be tough to beat tonight.
And make no mistake about it.
I got a feeling they're filming that during qualifying. I wouldn't be surprised. I wish I could see it, get a better view of the track. That looks really dark.
It's been all about getting here and walking out world champion, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a war on this floor tonight.
Now, a year ago, they were both world champs. Goldberg in the head-to-head competition and Gravedigger in
and I saw the semi-trail in the background.
2001. That's the title both these guys really won. Gravedigger. Goldberg. These 2 are the gold standard in the world of monster trucks. And this year, the 2 superstars have passed the title of world's greatest monster truck driver back and forth nearly as many times as they got behind the wheel. The year began with Dennis Anderson and Tom Mintz battling to a photo finish in the season opener in Houston. Gravedigger won this one to set the tone for the year. Soon after, Anderson unveiled a brand new Gravedigger truck. And not surprisingly, he had some problems with it, allowing Goldberg to have his way for most of the middle part of the season.
He's washed up, and all he's living on now is his legend and his name. That's the fact, and everybody knows it.
But once Anderson got Gravedigger dialed in, it was a whole new ball game. Suddenly, Anderson started winning with regularity. He swept both the race and the freestyle in Houston and is ready to challenge again for another world title.
It'd be the greatest thing for me if I was to win both of them. Just for one thing, to knock Tom down just a little bit, to bring him back to reality.
Oh boy, we are getting ready.
Moriarty down here in the staging area. I'll be here most of the evening. I got to tell you at home, this place is electric. Now, we discussed in the opening a couple of stories. One of the main one, of course, is Gravedigger Dennis Anderson. Last season, hurt most of the year with the bad back. However, the pro that he is, he came back and won the freestyle. 2 weeks ago, after a really healthy
Yep, there's his
season,
injury again, which we already know about.
In the Silverdome. Freestyle, once again, his favorite. He takes it on. That shot doesn't look like it really hurts much. A different angle will show you. He turned that cab around, and his ribs were killing him. Let me tell you, he told me earlier the ribs are sore. Dennis, the ribs are bad. However, it's the World Finals. Everyone's watching. You came back last year and performed. Can you do it again?
Hey, I'm on a spot right now. There's no choice. You know, we come here, we made it to the World Finals. This is going to be the biggest and the baddest that we've ever done right here. So the little injury that I got a couple of weeks ago, that's on the back burner right now, Jack. There is a fleet of trucks out here and a fleet of drivers that I've never been up against before as far as a one-on-one competition. My first round is going to be tough to get past.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good time.
And he ain't
with
wrong.
the experience or the guts has to be Dennis Anderson. Right now, let's go to Kate Milliken with a big rival, Tom Mintz.
That's right, Dad. Here I am with the man himself, and there are going to be a lot of people on his tail trying to snag his racing title. Tom, last night in the qualifying round, you had the second fastest time.
This is an interesting thing. This is the first time we really got a good view of what qualifying looks like. But I want you to know something, because I saw this point out on the Monster Truck Wiki that I didn't notice about either. As here is Tom qualifying against El Napieu. I'm going to pause right here, too, during the race. Right here, as Tom does his pass. Look at that, people. Look at that right there. It's either a double railroad car stack, or it's one massive railroad sea container at the same time. It's basically a giant, like, bus stack, almost. And remember, like, later on, like, next year in World Finals 3, they did a bus stack, and that would become, like, the very beginning of, like, the double bus stack they would do the next several years after that. But that didn't happen, of course, as we know, for tonight. They either got rid of this, or if 2 of them just got rid of it, made one, and they made a van stack slightly down here. And, of course, they had all these cars here from the racing lane to avoid them getting damaged. So, yeah. They made a smaller obstacle to add variation, which, on the one hand, I kind of agree with. Because you do want a little bit more variable at the same time. You want something small out there. Not everything has to be gigantic. But, man, that seems like a cool obstacle that they missed out on getting me doing. That sucks, but they couldn't have kept it there with the van stack. It would have been not enough room. But, man, that could have been a cool idea if that actually stayed. I never noticed that until I saw that on the wiki just now. I mean, the other day. That's wild. 25 years, never noticed that. But yeah, Tom, of course, he got the second place spot in qualifying, too. No number 1 this time around, as we see the field once
All
again.
right, let's take a look at our field of trucks. Gary Porter, the veteran, is here in a new truck. Spider-Man. Eldon Dupuis, what a ride he had in Michigan. He pilots Bulldozer.
Last night we qualified the trucks. This guy was #1 fast qualifier, Brian Bartle in the Marvel Comics Wolverine. And the Stinger is here. Tony Farrell will be driving the Sting.
One thing I don't like about what they did in World Finals 2 is they don't show the bracket beforehand. All of round 1 is completely unknown. That's one thing I don't like that they did. They should have showed the bracket before racing start. That's one fuck up they did. That's all we actually know is Bartle was #1 qualifier. That's it. That's all we know. They don't say about anything else till much later on, which is really irritating.
The champ of the Thunder Nationals, Mike Vodders here in black.
By the way, that's actually incorrect when I looked on Wiki. Vodders was not the champion.
Medusa. She had a great finals a year ago.
And I don't know if I mentioned this in World Finals 1, but Vodders was originally going to compete in World Finals 1, but he had an event or something at the prior time, so he couldn't do it. So that's why he ended up also making it here instead.
Great Digger, but tonight he's in Blacksmith. He wants to beat the Digger. And there's Dan Evans, Airman Dan, pilot of Destroyer.
And we get to the big two. We've talked about it. We've set it up. The reigning world freestyle.
Honestly, this feels like a much better intro than how they do like the trucks during the season.
And the reigning world racing champion, Tom Mintz, and the Goldberg machine.
All right, so here we go. It's time for racing. Start off with round 1. As we're going to start off, it's going to be Brian Bartle, Wolverine, against Mike Vodders and Black Stallion. Man, ever since Bartle got into Wolverine, he has been on a roll. He's made the semifinals, I think, every single event at the bare minimum. He's been to the finals, I think, 2 times, and he won race in Minneapolis when he straight beat Tom. He could be a threat tonight in racing. Man, tough break there for Vodders going up against Bartle to start off with. Oh, man.
You may remember him as the driver of Little Tiger, but he's got the chance of his life right now.
Oh, man, people. I waited all this time to cover this event, and it's about to start. Yeah, this is a whole different ballgame for Vodders. He's not used to shit like this. Hell, a lot of them aren't even really used to this. This is an extreme track by then. But Vodders, this is an even bigger stream. All right, here we go. Vodders, Bartle, here we go. World Finals 2 is underway. Here we go, racing. And Bartle with a huge lead, of course. Tough track, remember, it's like 2 turns. Vodders held it well. Bartle went a little wide, but Bartle is going to get the victory as he's moving on to round 2. And this is going to be a big problem throughout the night, too, is because they did the racing lane much farther out than they did the year before. So because of that, they don't have a lot of time to stop. And you're going to see that cause a big problem later on throughout the night with many trucks having trouble stopping. That was one thing they also screwed up with the track step when they made the lane so wide out. All right, next up, Alan Pizzo, Predator, go up against Medusa. This actually could be an interesting race since they're both competitive, although Alan struggled, remember, most of the year. Medusa's actually been more competitive. Maybe she could be the favorite right now. Man, what a race will be. These two raced here last year a lot against each other. This could be a good race. That's if Alan shows up, though. Who will win to move on against Bartle in round 2 is going to have a tough time. Oh, man. Cannot wait.
He says monster trucks prey on cars. That's how he got the name Predator. And Medusa out of Minneapolis, Minnesota in her 2004 F-150.
Man, we saw Medusa last time on Panic, and she did a good job in racing, being competitive. She was run-up in freestyle, remember, only the Tom. Who will win will face Bartle. All right.
I'm still amazed how far she's come. Remember, she just debuted.
As they are now getting ready. Here we go. Medusa, Alan, and they're off! Almost into the wall for Alan as they're flying out of Thunder Alley. And Medusa's in the lead. Here we go, into the turn. Alan goes a little wide. And Medusa has a prominent turn, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Alan recovered, and Alan's going to win as he moves on to round 2 with a whole bunch of smoke from the back. Here's one thing that the pay-per-view did bad compared to VHS, DVD, and TNN errands, they don't show what happened to Medusa, which honestly is kind of a bad thing if you think about it. Why did they not show when they have like a half an hour head start on the video and such? But what happened was, it's been a while since I last saw it, so I may not remember fully, but when Medusa went to turn, she kind of spun out and like almost went into the dumpsters. I mean, not the dumpsters, the railroad cars. You saw like a little bit when after the turn right here. Let's see. Like, see? Like, where here? Either she like spun out like right around here and had to like slowly reline up to this position, or she like went out, like spun out completely out here or something like that. It's on the VHS and VHS and TNN errands, but it's not on the actual pay-per-view, which kind of sucks. Alright, now here we go. The race of round one. Dennis Anderson going up against Pablo Humdinger. How about that, people? Two Gravedigger drivers going at it. On the one hand, we don't know how Pablo's done this season, but we know Dennis has struggled, but he also has moments, so it can go either way. Oh boy, this is a huge race. Oh my goodness, the race of round one, ready to go. Can Dennis show up, though, is a question. Here we go, Dennis and Pablo, they're off! Dennis almost into the wall! Swirling out of Thunder Alley! And Pablo with the lead, but here we go, into the turn, as Dennis is gonna go wide! Dennis chokes again! He chokes again like all year, and Pablo's gonna get the easy victory! But look, he's on two wheels, he's gonna save it, but almost go into the wall near Thunder Alley, and that's like a forewarning of what's gonna happen to him later on tonight. But, oh, Dennis blew it again all year. Like I said, he shouldn't have drove 14. He should have stayed in 12 all year, drove 14 next year when he had more experience with it. As Dennis's night in racing's done, and he will not be seen again until the end of Freestyle to defend his title. Pablo moving on to round two with a dominant race. And how about this next up? Lyle Hancock, Blue Thunder, going up against Joe Canuso and Wrenchhead. That's funny. We had Dennis face one of his teammate drivers. Now we're seeing Lyle go up against the truck he just drove the year before. That's always so interesting. Man! Pablo is going to be a threat tonight. So remember, this is the first time, not my first time, because I didn't see race until later, the next morning. This is the first time we're seeing Jill now. But going up against Lyle, and technically this is the first time we're seeing Lyle since Houston, because the Pontiac event wasn't shown on TV till much later. So we'll see how he does here. Still has a really cool design, but I would like if they kept that original, like almost all black design for Blue Thunder all year. I think that would be kind of cool in this situation right now. As we get ready, Lyle and Jill. Now, of course, we don't know how Jill drives, so we can't say if Lyle has the advantage or not, because we've never seen how she races yet. But we know Lyle is going to give it his all. Every event he drove in except Pontiac, he's been dominant in racing, made the finals every time, and remember, he swept in Houston's second show. And that actually did happen. They showed it in, like, 2002, yearbook and such. And I think they covered it in 2002. Here we go. Jill, Lyle. Here we go. Second half of round one underway. Or at least the last half of the first half. Here we go. Lyle a little slow coming on Thunder Alley. And Jill is in the lead. But she's in trouble right there. She's knocking stuff down. Better turn by Lyle. Jill's way too wide. And Lyle will get the victory. Lyle will get the victory, but Jill's going to get some big air at the end. Oh man, people, you know what that means? We're going to have Pablo and Lyle going at it in round two. That's going to be insane. And yes, it literally will be when you see it later on.
Had the lead out of the hole and led him halfway down the chute, just had trouble holding it once again. Lyle Hancock.
I mean, it sucks that I can't say if Jill's a good racer or not, because that's the only time we ever see her race, but maybe she could have been competitive, but again, we don't know because there's no other evidence. Because she was leading Lyle coming out Thunder Alley. Alright, here we go. Dan Evans, Destroyer, going up against our racing rub from last year, Scott Hartsock and Gunslinger. Who, remember, the last two events seemed a lot better in racing. He, remember, was the #1 qualifier in Jacksonville. He made the finals in Jacksonville before edging out by Tom in a close race. And he was kind of competitive in racing in Pontiac, losing out to Barrow, though.
Scott Hartsock keeps sitting there. Last night, laid down the third fastest qualifying, runner-up a year ago.
Yeah, and because of that, you know what that means, guys? Since we haven't seen Tom yet, that means Tom and Scott will face in the semifinals if they make it that far. There's going to be a different finals matchup this time around.
You wonder about that name, Gunslinger.
So this is the second half of round 1. Round 2 is partially set. Wolverine, Predator, Blacksmith, Blue Thunder. Now for the second half. Scott Hartsock ready to go, hoping to get that terrible 2001 behind him. As here we go, Dan and Scott!
Dan Evans, another guy who's kind of...
They're off!
We'll see how he does here.
Scott a little slow going to Thunder Alley. And he's like dead even with Dan. But here we go, into the turn.
Gunslinger is out in front on the straightaway.
Scott had a good turn. Dan was terrible. Scott was a little slow, but Scott's going to get the victory. He's going to get some big air off the jump, too. He now needs to stop, though, as I mentioned earlier, as he's going to slam into the dumpsters. Oh! Again, I told you all earlier that was going to be a big problem throughout the night, and you're seeing why. They don't have time to stop in time. Slammed into the dumpsters right there. Backed off. And by the way, look at the bumper being removed. I always wonder if that gave Scott Hartsock the idea of using that buy style for 2002 and onward and such. Such an interesting design. But ever since I saw that World Finals 2, I always feel like, I wonder if he got influenced by the event from it. Alright, but anyways, our next race. This will be interesting. Gary Porter, Spider-Man, against Jim Kohler, Avenger. I mean, Avenger, we saw how Jim did race, and he actually was kind of competitive a couple times. Even gave Tom, I think, in one event, a little bit of a competition. So it feels like he's better in racing now than he was nowadays. But he's going up against a Hall of Famer, so that's going to be tough. We saw Porter drive Raging Steel in Jacksonville, remember? And here we go, Jim and Gary. They're off. Ooh, Jim had a whole shot right there. Who will win to face Scott in round 2? As Scott and Jim with the lead. Here we go, into the turn though. Jim went wide. Porter was struggling there. Oh, they're dead even. And Jim's going to get the victory. Oh, he broke the four-link tie rod though. He's on 2 wheels and he's going to go over. He saved it. What a save. But he broke a tie rod. So his round 2 spot's not guaranteed now. He's got a tough task against Scott Hartsock though. Man, both drivers struggled. Jim went way too wide. Porter went sharp, but then he went too wide before the racing lane, and he lost a lot of speed, allowing Jim to make the comeback. Oh, look at this. It was all Porter, and he blew by going so wide. I feel like Jim slowed down too, going for that jump, right beforehand. Tie rod, not sway bar. So yeah, Jim wins, but he's on a bad spot right now with that breakage. So we're going to have to take a look at that. Porter might potentially come back. All right, here we go. This could be an interesting race too. Eldon Pugh, Bulldozer versus John Seasock, Sudden Impact. And we saw Eldon dominate in racing against in Pontiac, remember. He was really good.
I think you can put Gary Porter in any truck and he's a contender.
How about this too? A match of world champions. Eldon Pugh was a champion years ago. John Seasock, in 6 years, will get his racing title.
And he's had a great season here in 2001. Going up though against a real veteran, Eldon Pugh and Bulldozer, a past world champion, brought out of retirement by Team Goldberg this year. Drove Goldberg 2 this season, and now being asked to pilot Tom Ben's other truck, Bulldozer.
Veteran driver, top quality shoe. As you mentioned, when he drove Taurus, he actually won a world championship a decade ago. Sat out about 5 years though, Mike, and I'll tell you, he has not.
Here we go, Eldon John. Here we go. John might have had a little bit of a whole shot.
That sudden impact down Thunder Alley.
And Eldon with the giant lead. John went a little wide right there, and Eldon is going to get the victory in a blowout. Huge victory. But again, he needs to slow down. He's going to slam into the dumpsters. Oh, man, what a hit that was. Goodness.
That's why they put the wall protection there. These guys
El Napier with the victory, a big victory too. He could be a giant threat tonight, but you know what that means? He's going to have to potentially face Tom in round 2, because that's the last race. Tom Meents and Tony Farrell. That's a big matchup too, because Farrell, remember, and Tom, they faced in the finals in New Orleans, and it was competitive, I think, remember too. But El Napier, after seeing what he did in Pontiac, he's going to be a scary threat tonight, but he's going to be in a tough spot if he has to face Tom. He also has to potentially worry about Scott Hartsock too.
And speaking of Goldberg, he's going to be up next in just a moment. He was our second fastest qualifier.
As we see, John went way too wide, and Eldon just dominated. He just flied out of Thunder Alley. Easy victory for him.
Bad for John Cisak. He put so much into it tonight. He really changed gear because you've got to get a faster gear in, and it looked like he may have had too much.
That's why you gotta have a good, one of the best qualifying times to have a chance in round 1, because easy chance to the opponent, but after that, round 2 is gonna start becoming very tough. Except if you're like number 1 qualifier, you got like the worst qualifier against maybe this an average driver, then you get really tough. But here we go. Tom Meents debuting a new Goldberg bites, pure gold pretty much, going up against Tony Farrell and Sting. As here we go, the rematch from the finals in New Orleans.
Should be a super matchup. Now Sting didn't qualify well last night, so he gets the bad break of going up against Goldberg.
As here we go.
Goldberg is in the house, cheering on his truck. He's ready for
Tom and Farrell to wrap up round 1. Going to Thunder Alley. Oh, Tom's in trouble! Tom's in trouble! And Farrell with the big lead. Here we go, into the turn. Farrell goes a little wide right there. And then he's going to spin out! He's going to do a 360 like Sting did last year! And Tom's going to get the comeback victory as he needs to slow down! As he's going to slam into that big sign right there as he damages the hood. What a comeback from Tom! Remind me what he did in World Finals 11 against Damon Bradshaw? Oh my gosh! What a race that was! What a comeback to wrap up round 1. But I am going to say this too, because this is something that's been really kind of bugged me a little bit. I don't want to get into like the stupid argument about monster trucks is ring line. No, I don't buy that argument. Fuck those people that say that argument. But there is, all my life, I've always had like a little bit, just like a 1% chance of thinking, was that race maybe somewhat rigged to help Tom? Like, the fact that Tony spun out like that always sat wrong with me. I know, of course, it's definitely possible, but it just sat wrong with me the way how Tom started off. Like a huge comeback, basically. If Farrell, like, spun out, like, came to a complete stop, I don't think I would have minded so much. But then when this happens, like, just like last year, it just doesn't sit right with me. It just feels like a little bit sussy to me. To the point where I can't deny my feelings on that. But I don't believe it actually was rigged. It probably was coincidence, but it's something that just, man, it just always just feels like a little bit in the back of my head that I can't deny that feeling.
And just made a mistake, tried to go too hard and did a complete...
If he just spun out, not the 360, I don't think I would have thought that as much. It just reminded me too much of last year. Like a coincidence. Which is funny because that happened to Sting against Lyle in round 2. It wasn't against like a Goldberg truck or anything. But as you saw, Scott Hartsock, El Napier, and Tom Meents both slammed into the wall. You saw Tom's damage. So now round 2 is set. It's going to be Wolverine versus Predator, Blacksmith versus Blue Thunder, which is going to be a huge race. Gunslinger versus Avenger, which depends on Avenger comes back, and then Bulldozer versus Goldberg. That's going to probably be the race of round 2. But now we got to watch on Avenger.
All year, real competitive run. Just landed, broke a tie rod. It's not a big deal. They should be able to have it fixed. It looks like they got the spare parts. And he's got a tire leaking too, but they'll have the truck back together and be ready for the next round. And he's gonna have to pick his pace up a little bit, but he's still running a competitive pace.
All right, as you can see, we got guys down here. Everyone's working on one small thing. The tire rod is out. It's broken. It can be fixed relatively easy. Does he have enough time between the rounds, however, Scott?
Yeah, we should have plenty of time. With a 16 truck field, we got some fillers with the 4-wheelers, so we should be in real good shape. They got the thing about halfway apart right now. And like I said, I don't see a problem on it. The main thing is, you hope the spare that you brought with you from home is the one you need.
Yeah, but it sounds like Jim's going to be okay to face Scott in round 2.
Watch them work behind me. The problem probably is, not only is it just...
That could be a competitive race if you think about it.
World Finals. This is one of Jim's best runs ever, taking out Spider-Man really, literally, in the air, going over the crush cars. So you know what? There has to be some nerves involved.
I think that's Chris Bergeron too right there before he drove Bruce like later on into 2002.
Well, Dan, I want to ask you guys, were you guys surprised as we were up here with Blacksmith's win over Gravedigger?
Of course,
I'm not really surprised.
as we mentioned in the opening here, we weren't planning on him winning. Nothing against Pablo. He's a great driver, but he's going against his boss, the guy who pays his checks, the guy who he works with in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. You would think, maybe he'd take it easy, but once again,
I'm not really surprised because, like I said, 14 was just not Dennis's truck that year.
Pablo had a great qualifying run going last night. He told me his practice runs were better, and he was expecting to run good. And I'll tell you, Dennis beat himself up. He took off really bad. He was anticipating Pablo to run good, and Pablo's got the quickest run going right now.
And guys, from where you were, I'm not sure you could see it. However, coming down that straightaway, really the curve, Dennis did hit the side of the wall just a tad, so he was squirrely from the beginning. I'm not sure you can see that. If you can play it back, you can see that.
Yeah, he was squirrely coming out Thunder Alley like Tom was.
Thunder Alley, boy, you're looking at, I'm telling you, that is one thrash going on right there. Let's check in now with Kate Milligan.
Scott Hartsock, congratulations on your first round beating Destroyer. You hit the wall. What is going on with this course?
Yeah, I mean, this thing's hooking real hard. We're leaving out here on asphalt, getting through the chicane there, down to Wrench Head Alley. We're getting some major speed. Get into that corner. It worked real good. Come out of there. We broke the rear pinion out of the truck. Couldn't woe it at the other end. We won the race, but we lost the war. It's just like rolling the dice. You're either in and you're out. We're out right now. We're going to get back there and try to thrash on it, get it fixed, and come back for freestyle. But right now, we're out of the game, but you can't.
That's huge. Scott is done for racing. So that means Dan Evans is going to come back now.
Was that going to add a little pressure combined with your car injury?
Wow, that's stunning. Scott had a huge opportunity taken away from him. Oh, so Dan Evans is going to come back to face Jim Kohler. So a surprise driver is going to make the semifinals now. Here's the round 2 bracket.
Gunslinger problems with Avenger. Who knows, that may give Gravedigger another chance. But right now, these are the way the brackets look. That might change.
Well, it's going to. I mean, it's a stunning development. Gunslinger is out, is what he's telling us. He's trying to hopefully get back for freestyle. Wolverine and Predator should be good to go in the first matchup. Blacksmith and Blue Thunder, 2 former Gravedigger drivers, are going to square off. That is going to be a war. Who will replace Gunslinger? They'll probably go by Fast Time or Fast Loser, or it could be Destroyer coming back.
Destroyer obviously makes sense. Dan coming back makes perfect sense.
Hot Rod officials decide. Whoever that is will take on Avenger if Kohler.
Yeah, that's the thing. Kohler's still getting ready, so we could have maybe Dan Evans facing Gary Porter. But yeah, the big race, Lyle and Pablo, and the big one is going to be Tom and Eldon at the end of round 2. All right, but here we go. Round 2 is now underway. Brian Bartle, Alan Pizzo.
On the far side of your screen,
They did face each other early in the year, remember?
he was the man last night.
Man, Alan, of course, beat Medusa after her struggles earlier, trying to get to the semifinals. And Bartle, a little bit easier competition now with Scott gone, Dennis gone. But man, he's got a tough task against Lyle or Pablo later on. But here we go as we're getting ready for round 2.
How big would that be for Brian Bartle, former pilot of Little Tiger, now getting the chance of his life in a great monster truck, Wolverine. This is something he wants tonight.
And again, he was on a crew last year. Mike, he wasn't even driving in the World Finals last year. Now, he is a legitimate contender to win it all. But I told you, Alan Pizzo's got a lot to prove tonight. Boy, if he gets full upset here.
All right, here we go. Time for round 2. Bartle versus Allen.
Custom Chevy X-Men body. The favorite in this matchup.
Here we go. Round 2's underway.
Thunder Alley. This has been trouble in the last.
Great coming out Thunder Alley for Bartle as he flies on the track. As Allen is nowhere in sight! What happened to Allen? He's so far behind! But Bartle struggled a lot in that turn. And Bartle's going to get the victory, but he did slow down a lot because he didn't have to put much effort into it. But that could hurt him in terms of lane choice. But Bartle is in the semifinals. Bartle, despite not being competitive right there, he is on a roll tonight.
That fast time last night was not a fluke, Mike. Brian Bartle's dominant.
Let's go back to the staging area and Dan.
Guys, to let you know how close-knit this entire family of monster truck drivers and teams are, I was walking back from the pits to the staging area for the next round of racing, and my co-host down here, Scott Stevens, the expert ex-driver, ran away from me and went back to help Avenger and Jim Kohler fix the tire irons. I can't get him back over here to be on camera.
Yeah, ain't that nice to see how the drivers all want to help each other. Competitors, but still family. But, oh man, here we go. One of the biggest races now coming up. Lyle Hancock, Pablo Hubigger. Oh boy. We saw how they dominated. Former Gradier drivers going at it again. Oh boy, here we go. Who will face Bartle in round 2? Here we go. Pablo and Lyle. And they're off. Oh boy, this is going to be tense. Thunder Third Thunder Alley. Pablo with a huge lead again, just like against Dennis. Here we go, into the turn. And Pablo dominating again. He's going to win. Pablo moves on. But oh, he's on two wheels like earlier. He's flipping over and into the dumpsters. Pablo flips into the dumpsters infamously. Oh my gosh. What a finish. But again, you saw what I mentioned earlier about the trucks not having time to stop. You saw Pablo go on two wheels in round one. It happened again, and this time cost him dearly.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, what a finish.
Right now, they're taking a look at the truck.
Pablo flipped into the dumpsters. A common thing he had to deal for the next couple years, too. Like a running gag. Him with dumpsters.
We told you here at the World Finals, you see things you don't see anywhere else. And that is one of the most amazing racing crashes I've ever seen.
Kate Milliken, could you see what happened?
My goodness.
All I can see right now is it seems he's okay, but the truck is literally between the protective coating and the yellow box. He's literally...
My goodness, what a finish. An iconic finish.
He's coming out the top right now. He seems to be okay. The truck looks terrible, but Pablo looks alive.
What a run for Pablo Huffaker. I don't know if we'll see that truck again tonight, but he made a statement here in the World Finals with Blacksmith. Wow! And listen to this crowd.
Oh my God! What a move the run that was by Pablo.
I had the pleasure of seeing Pablo in the Blacksmith truck, and you know we talked earlier about the little odds making I was doing, and Charlie Mancuso, the president of SFX Motorsports, said, you know, you sold Blacksmith short. You didn't include him among your favorites. Now I see what he was talking about. It's our first look at Pablo in that truck.
Oh my God! Pablo was just on a mission tonight.
He's okay.
Hey, Paul, nice job.
My goodness.
Now back, though, the way the brackets work out, that means that truck's not coming back. I'm telling you, that truck's not going to be back in the semifinals. More than likely, Blue Thunder will return despite being defeated there.
Well, let's take a look at this one more time. This is
like, look at this. Look at that turn Pablo had. He just floored it to that jump.
He was in great shape here. Flew over beautifully, got across the Built Ford Tough finish line with the win, but then he started bicycling. And once he got it up on two wheels, he was in no man's land. But the amazing part was the end. He literally climbed the wall protection. And I'm going to tell you, I'm just thrilled to see he's out of the truck and smiling like he is, because that was one wild, wild ride.
And just so you all know, Blacksmith's going to be there all night. I have a funny story about that in a moment, but we got to wait about this.
I tell you what, I came out of that turn, I saw that I was ahead of Lyle, and I thought, man, I ain't gonna let that guy catch me. I'm mad at the motor.
Yes, you did.
I stayed with it, trying to get myself gathered up. About then I started flipping, that was it. When I want to know how they gonna get that thing out of there.
Man, how did it feel to be sideways there?
Tell you what, until it settled down and I came out the window, I didn't really realize where I was at. I had no clue I was up on top of the dumpsters.
Well, your fans knew where you were at, and they loved it.
I loved it very much.
I'll tell you what, you get this thing down from here, if she'll still run, we'll win this event.
How do you like that, huh?
Oh, we'll win it.
And I'm going to say this right now, a little spoiler about, I'm not going to probably reveal it yet because of what happened later on round two when the racing setup gets changed. But before I watch this event again, I really thought, my prediction was Bartle would beat Tom if they made the finals. I still stand by that belief, but seeing how Bartle drove, I'm not as convinced anymore. My view now went to Pablo. If Pablo was able to drive and the eventual lane, change the start line, become U-turn instead of being Thunder Alley, if Pablo was able to come back and Thunder Alley wasn't messed up, he would have, I think he would have gotten lane chase. I think he was much faster than Bartle. So he would have gotten lane chase. I wouldn't be surprised if he put Bartle in the other lane. I think Pablo would have cooked like he did all night. Like him and Bartle had those fast starts coming out of Thunder Alley. So I think he would have beaten Bartle. He would have faced Tom, and I think he would have cooked Tom. Yeah, I think Pablo would have been the racing winner tonight if he was able to keep on going and the racing lane didn't get changed. Now, here's another thing too I was mentioned earlier. So like I said earlier, Blacksmith's gonna be there all night. Now remember, I didn't see racing until the next morning. I went straight to freestyle. So I remember watching the event when I first saw like Predator come out, like, why is there a truck in the dumpsters? Is that some sort of like decoration? And at first, I actually thought it was NWO. Like a black truck. What else could it be besides NWO? Because I didn't know what Blacksmith was. This is the first time we're seeing Blacksmith. So that's what came to my head. That was NWO in the dumpsters for some reason. And by the way, they didn't mention it. Blue Thunder also got damaged too in that race. It lost a bumper, but it has a sway bar or something damage. You can see trucks leaning from the hit. So Blue Thunder's in a little bit of a bad shape too. Yeah, that was fun talking about that.
You know, it's kind of mixed emotions right now for Dennis. He's out here watching Pablo, of course, happy that Pablo got out of that truck. At the same time, round before, that guy knocked you out of the racing. What happened? You were swerving going down that first ramp.
Well, the track's a little slick in the right lane, probably in both lanes. We got a set of cut tires on the back. I made a wrong call at the beginning of the race. We were going to put a full cleated tire on. I told him, no, the track was going to come around. It was really slick, charged out the other end, got on the brakes a little.
Looks like a Medusa crew chief member right there too. Yeah, like they all work together, remember, like I said before.
Is the problem that the weather here in Las Vegas during the daytime is so hot, at night it cools down and you made a tactical error maybe on the tires?
I don't know if it's that. It's just, you know, it's hard to judge. They have to wet the track down. They got to really saturate it so we don't get dust while the race is going on. But, hey, besides all that, Pablo is a great dude. If I was going to be beat by anybody out here tonight, I'd rather for it to be Pablo. He's campaigned a Gravedigger truck for me for years now.
You see Blue Thunder going back.
And what just happened in the second round here was unbelievable. I love him.
I guess Pablo probably still has a job from what it sounds like. So crashing a little bit.
Oh, man.
Is it anything that bad? You'll be back on time for later on to defend your freestyle championship?
Well, what I done is I broke the master cylinder off on my run. I had no brakes right here at the very end of the track. They're just putting another master cylinder on it. We'll have it going for freestyle. And if we don't, I got a backup truck in the back I'll bring out.
Guys, I guarantee you, freestyle champ, he's not going out like this.
All right, Dan, thanks a lot. And Dan, if I could get you maybe to check on Blue Thunder as well. It was so spectacular with Pablo there that we kind of didn't check on Blue Thunder. He also hit the wall protection. And
I don't think he hit the wall. I think he stopped before him, but there was some damage to the truck. All right, but now, here we go. As Guns, Avengers still not ready yet, so now we got our next big giant matchup. El Napiu and Tom Meents. We saw them race each other in Pontiac. And El Napiu, when he wasn't facing Tom, he was cooking. But how will he do right now? Because Tom was struggling. Could maybe El Napiu pull off an upset? Also, there's a moment here, too, in racing. We're going to watch with Tom right here. Here we go! Tom with the whole shot. Watch Tom, though. He hit the pole, which right there is going to be a problem later on. But watch the rest of the race. Of course, they don't show what happens to Ellen right here, which is really annoying. Tom going to the turn. And Elden's right there. I think he had a huge chance, but he's on two wheels, and he is going to go over. As Tom gets the victory. Again, kind of bailed out. But now he has to stop. Yes, he does. Man, Elden Napiu had a good opportunity to beat Tom, but they got on two wheels. But I want you now all to focus on something. When he went in the Thunder Alley, did you see Tom hit that pole? It wasn't a 5-second penalty, but the pole hit something, which we're going to see in a little bit. Something that's going to be very problematic in a moment. But now our last race is Dan Evans against Jim Kohler.
One thing we haven't been able to get into too much with maybe Will and Scott Stevens as time goes on. One thing Brian Barthel and Tom Meents both have are almost slicks in terms of tires. A lot of times the monster truck drivers will have the huge spikes.
Yeah, it sucks Scott Hartsock got eliminated from the damage. But hey, now Dan Evans is back. So now we're going to have Dan Evans or Jim Kohler. One of these surprise trucks is going to make the semifinals. Ain't that something?
All right, Avenger appears to have that problem repaired. That is Jim Kohler.
Destroyer gets to come back because of, again, the damage to the gunslinger.
That's Dan Evans, Airman Dan, out of Scottsville, Michigan. Avenger will be in the near lane here.
But there's also another problem that happens with Avenger, but we'll worry about that in a moment because we're going to see something else. Look at that, people! Tom hit a pole, which hit a water pipe, which is now spewing water everywhere, and even worse, it's going into the right lane. Look, the right lane is flooded now. and that's going to cause a major problem with the drivers. And also another thing too, because I didn't mention, somehow Avenger has a pop tire. So now Avenger is out. So now Gary Porter is quickly being brought back in to replace Jim. So how about that? Now the next race is going to be Gary Porter and Dan Evans going at it.
I mentioned Blue Thunder a moment ago, and it looked like he hit the wall protection as well. I think Dan's found out the story.
So yeah, he's about to talk to Lyle. However,
On the starting line was Avenger blew a tire. He is now back to trying to fix it. They're getting the next race.
he's about to talk to Lyle now, but listen to the background.
You lost the race.
Someone's driving.
You survived. You're coming back for the next round.
As Gary Porter's driving, he's sliding into the slick.
In that corner, same time circuit. He was a little bit ahead of me. We gave it everything we had, you know, and trying to catch up to him at that point. It's a little bit slick.
Bit of a slide out right there. Not bad turn overall for Gary. He's going for the jump and up and over it with some big air.
They're watching him eyes going, holy no, I just wanted the best to happen for him. Be okay. You know?
So, no one knows exactly what happened, though, to Gary Porter, why he did that race, as they're going to talk about right here.
Guys, back to the racing.
All right. Well, we had Gary Porter and Spider-Man. I'm going to have to get a word from the USHRA on what that was all about.
I'm just wondering if that maybe Gary Porter was sent out there just to let him go ahead and get a run while they're giving Kohler time to get the truck ready. Either that, or they're going to let him come back and replace Avenger in the lineup.
That sucks for Jim. He got all ready to go, and then that pop tire happens.
You can see the tire is flat on the Avenger. He's not
That's so weird. Man, Jim would have probably had a good chance to beat Dan, make the semifinals. And remember, he gave Tom a challenge earlier in the year.
going to line up, it looks like, against Destroyer. Boy, what a terrible break for Jim Kohler.
And by the way, since Jim technically didn't come back, I consider that a loss. So that means he's still 0-2, and he'll have to wait till World Finals 9, 8 years before he finally gets his first racing win in the World Finals. That's unfortunate. But now here we go, Dan Evans and Gary Porter. But now the problem is, Porter, even though he is better than Dan, he has the major problem with the water main break, so he has to drive in water for a bit, and that could cause a major problem.
Marvel Comics wanted a seasoned veteran behind the wheel, and they've got one. Dan Evans out of Scotland.
Better driver, but more disadvantages.
He'd like to knock off Spider-Man right here.
Boy, sure would. You know, I hope someday.
Who will win and face Tom in the semifinals?
Gary Porter will be one of them.
And yes, he is a Hall of Famer. I still want Tom in there eventually, people. Put Tom in the Hall of Fame already. I'm getting tired of waiting.
Again, the upper right of your screen, you saw it there for a moment, the red and the green light. I think both trucks are now staged and ready.
So we're getting ready to wrap up round 2. Yeah, it's a major problem which we're going to have to get to later, but we got the rest of round 2 to go. Here we go. Dan Evans and Gary Porter. Whole shot there for Dan. That's a huge advantage with the water. Oh, poor Gary going to have to go for the water. That's going to be a major disadvantage for him. Look at the water all the way out the Thunder Alley as he's behind big time. Here we go. Into turn. Porter had a great turn, but then he shut down. Oh, unfortunate. Dan Evans had a terrible turn, but he's going to finish the race, and Dan Evans is in the semifinals by pure luck. Wow. Man, Gary Porter at first looked like he was going for a sharp turn, looked like he had a chance, but then the truck shut down. Who knows? Maybe the truck had water problems because you saw how much water was in it. Maybe it caused electrical issues. But right now, Dan Evans, surprisingly, is in the semifinals. All right, so now semifinals is set. Brian Bartle, technically versus Pablo Hubdigger, but who knows about Blacksmith, going up against Dan Evans, and Tom Meents going up against each other.
That's the way it looks right now as we have completed
future racing champion, future freestyle champion, and racing runner-up, the defending racing champion, the GOAT, and then Dan Evans. And of course, you got Lyle, of course, was a racing runner-up coming up in a bit. He has a chance. But yeah, that's the field right semifinals right now. Wolverine, Blacksmith, Destroyer, Goldberg. But now we gotta wait for semifinals. As you can see, Mike Votter, that's not Scott Hartsock, but a teammate of Scott Hartsock. As you see, they're working on the water right there because it's a major issue.
However, at the World Finals, this is going to create a problem. What's it going to do?
Absolutely. It's really going to mess this right lane up. It's going to be a tragic deal for anybody that draws this lane, I would say, for the rest of the night. One of the trucks hit the trash can, knocked the trash can into one of the water pipes, and it's just flooding over here, and it's going to be a nightmare for anybody that draws that lane all night.
No, guys, this is literally a lake out here, and the problem is, as you heard earlier, some of the guys change to slicks when you go to slicks.
It's not going to matter what tires they run. That's an unfair lane now, no matter what.
There isn't going to be a tire choice that's going to work.
There is nothing you can do to make that lane fair.
Asphalt with dust on top, and now you got water, so you got so much coming on here, it's going to be a bad deal.
Let's walk around this corner here and see what we can see as far as the garbage can is concerned.
Yeah, look at it, guys. This is really bad.
Guys all over the place, obviously trying
The
to
water's
work on it.
all the way
Let me
out
show you
there
how deep
too,
this is.
coming out into the stadium. That's how much water is coming out.
Right here, I'm in a puddle, and what they're trying to do, putting the garbage can over it, is trying to get things somewhat controlled.
I wonder if they knocked out water in the stadium for the rest of the night because of this. But yeah, look how much water it is.
Guys, this is going to be problems. My shoes are no big deal, but these trucks that already have...
Everyone in that lane is going to have a complete unfair advantage. It's unfair.
That is going to be tough to overcome. And again, that's in the right lane. And
that lane is fully unfair now.
That is the lane that is nearest to us. And so the trucks that are over there are going to have some problems dealing with that.
Yeah, like, look how far the water's gone out.
Go to work to try.
Look how much it's flooded. It's only been like 10 minutes at most, maybe.
You know what this makes me think? I'm going to tell you, unless the USHRA officials decide to move the starting line, which would be a very unusual thing to do, and maybe bring it up Thunder Alley a ways, what you're looking at is a situation where that is a huge disadvantage in that right lane. Remember.
Yeah, and remember I said earlier how Bartle, I think if Pablo came back, he would have had lane choice. Can you imagine if he put Bartle in that lane? Oh boy.
Even Goldberg in the right lane.
Well, as it looks now, Wolverine, Brian Bartle, has a chance to accomplish the dream of a lifetime here.
Can you believe it? And I hate to keep saying the same thing, but I can't.
But yeah,
get over the fact
that lane is
going
to be a giant problem.
Like the man who might walk out of here.
It's almost unacceptably bad what's going on with it right now.
Wow. Well, our semifinals are not really the four fastest trucks that we've had here in this crowd. Again, I'm amazed. Look at the crowd. Nobody is sitting down.
Brian Bartle, Pablo Hubigger, Dan Evans, Tom Metz. With the chance Lyle comes back.
Absolutely. And boy, you know, we had a huge pit party earlier today, and it was just amazing. All the people coming up and talking to us and following TNN and
just a tough break
throughout the year
for Lane. Tough break too for Pablo.
All the way up to Boston, Massachusetts. We got to meet a lot of great fans, and they came in just for this event to be a part of the World Finals. And we're thrilled so many folks are with us here at home to be a part.
But man, what a wild night's been racing so far.
Yeah,
we still got a lot to go.
There was some good food, and one thing I know about you and I, if there's good food, we're going to find it.
We're going to find it. You found that popcorn.
Yeah, there's the pit party.
Out here in May.
How small back then, too, if you think about it. The 16 trucks, there were some other display trucks, but that's it. It ain't like how it is nowadays in the World Finals where they have, like 60, 70 trucks. It's insane how much trucks they have at the pit party nowadays.
Of pit party time. I know the Ford people were here.
Man, cannot wait.
You can see the Deuce, the sign of the guy's head. A lot of folks got autographs here.
Okay, here's the edit now. Like I said, this video was pretty edited down a little bit. So what's happened is that they moved the start line out into the track. So it's now U-turn style racing. So now we're seeing Brian Bartle coming at the line. And there's Lyle Hancock coming out in Blue Thunder. So no return for Pablo, unfortunately.
Right now, some talk behind us is that they may bring it back again because they're trying to squeegee things out. However, it's going to be a different driver's race.
Absolutely. You know, that gear change that I was saying everybody needed to do last night to go faster, now, you know, they all need to go back to a slower gear so they can get down that shorter straightaway. You know, we lost a lot on that straightaway. But, you know, everybody's going to adapt, and it's going to be the same for everybody.
So, yeah.
It's bad. It's
another problem is there's no lights now. So now they have to use a flag. An official's got to go out in the middle of the track and wave a flag.
Ready for the semifinals now.
Man, this will be a big race, though. Lyle Hancock and Brian Bartle. How will they handle the changed in lanes, too? If anything, I think this gives a huge advantage now to Lyle, since he's driven in U-turn before. Here we go. Lyle and Bartle. And Bartle's sleeping at the line! Lyle with the big lead! Oh! Damn! Big lead for Bartle. Great turn for Lyle right there as he lines up for a jump, and he's going to get the win as he's in the finals for the first time. But what happened to Bartle, people? Well, I already know what happened, but... Oh, man, Bartle was sleeping at the line, and you see he is mad. He just flew into Thunder Alley, how mad he was.
He didn't get the go signal.
Well, they were throwing the green flag, and he didn't move. I don't know if he was still looking for a light, wasn't thinking about the green flag. The green flag was waving.
So now Tom Meents and Dan Evans are getting ready to go for the next race.
We're waiting to see. They're not first to call. Blue Thunder is your winner. He's in the final. Wow.
What a night for Lyle Hancock, who was beaten in the first round, but because of some equipment that's been torn up, is now in the finals for the World Championship. And who will he run against? Will it be Goldberg? Will it be Destroyer?
So yeah, Tom Meents and Dan Evans getting ready to go to face Lyle.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm thinking about it all playing right back into Tom Meents' hand.
Yeah. Tom Meents, the far lane, and you got to imagine there's a little bit of psychological stuff going on.
Yeah, Bartle's fuming.
Bartle is, I told you he was going to be upset. He's really hot.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. I mean, he may have thought, he may have been looking for a light. You know, I don't know, Mike.
Let's go to Dan. What are you hearing down there?
Guys, what I'm hearing is that Brian is saying someone ran out in front of the truck, like didn't come out very far, and just kind of waved a little green flag. He never saw it. Nothing was accurate. Had no idea what to look for. The flag waver just never gave.
Here we go. Tom and Dan going at it.
Livid. All right. Our second semifinal, it's Goldberg and Destroyer.
What a turn by Thomas. Dan didn't even make the turn, and Tom's going to get the easy victory to move on to the we move on to the finals to defend his title one step closer. This helps Tom massively going into U-turn style like it helped Lyle. This is a huge advantage for him now.
Designed for Goldberg. He was squirrely coming off the Thunder Alley, Mike. This is all Tom Meents now. Hancock is going to have a hard time beating him.
When you see Tom Meents,
man, what a pass that was by Tom. You saw how perfect he held that turn? He looked like a completely different driver now in U-turn now.
We just got word now that Blue Thunder and Wolverine are going to rerun their semifinal. And I think...
yeah, Wolverine and Blue Thunder are going to re-race because Bartle didn't see the flag.
Start line, and we're a different way of starting it, and this is the World Finals here tonight.
It's the right call, Mike. When you look at it, the last race, they moved the flagman for the last race out to the center where both guys had the same view. That time, Wolverine's race, the U.S. Hot Rod officials were just adapting on the fly to the new start line, and I can see where Bartle was claiming he did not see the flags. They were right next to it. Now we'll move the flagman out into the center where both trucks can see him. I think it's a fair call.
So yeah, now they're getting Wolverine ready to go for the re-race, which is fair. So Tom is in the finals, trying to defend his title. He's got the final. Will he face Lyle or will he face Bartle? Lyle will probably give him the bigger challenge. Bartle does not seem to do well on U-turn tracks, except kind of like in Pontiac where he did really well.
There you see it again. Now, he did not have the field of vision. That was the problem, and the flagman had to run at him and wave the flag. Wolverine has got an unusual looking out that...
Although technically it looked like Bartle had a better turn than usual in U-turn. But Lyle just has the advantage, looks like. I think Lyle just more used to U-turn tracks, which of course he's driven on before. Remember, he won his race in Houston on U-turn, and he made the finals in Minneapolis, the first show in Wrench Head in U-turn, so he's definitely used to it. And of course, Tom, we know, is just good like everything. So here we go. They're going to rerun Wolverine and Blue Thunder now.
Marvel Comics also worked as a heavy equipment operator. Remember this season?
Again, we saw the last race. Lyle now has the advantage being inside the stadium and not Thunder Alley.
Also with a win this season, Lyle Hancock and Blue Thunder.
So they're getting ready to go for the rerun.
Mike, just because they're redoing this doesn't mean that it's an automatic handover to Wolverine. And look, we're going to tell you they are moving the starter way out to the middle of the track, and they're going to wait until Brian Bartle says, I can see him, and Lyle Hancock says, I can see him. This is the fair way to do it.
Yeah, make sure everyone can see, because don't forget, guys, Bartle has a hard time seeing that truck. Wolverine's a very difficult truck to see out, so he has an even harder time than the other drivers.
Well, with everything that's going on here with the water main break, and we had to change the starting line, we had to go off a flag, and it wasn't fair the way it went. Brian Bartle with Wolverine didn't get a clear to go sign, so we had to rerun.
So they're getting ready.
Here we are.
Obviously, Brian is happy about that. Lyle Hancock, sportsmanship, no problem at all, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's in the rules where if you don't see that, you have to rerun the race.
Here we go. Semifinals underway. Lyle and Barlow, and this time Barlow got the line straight. Here we go. This time it's legit. Here we go. They're dead even. Here we go to the turn. Great turn for Barlow. Look better, but he spun out a little bit. Oh, Lyle got it. Lyle got it this time. Lyle has it, and he's in the finals. Barlow had it, but he spun out a little bit in the final part. Oh, that really sucks for Barlow. Losing Thunder Alley really cost him. Just like it would have cost Pablo, too, if he was able to come back.
You've got to be able to adapt. Let me say this for Blue Thunder. I think Lyle Hancock is tickled they reran that race. There's now no doubt he's earned his spot in the final.
So now the finals. The rematch from Minneapolis is the actual season opener 2001. Lyle Hancock going up against Tom Meents. And remember, too, these two raced each other in the semifinals, the previous World Finals, where Tom got him.
Kind of with disaster as he lost.
Yeah, think about it. Tonight we had Tom Meents getting bailed out, beating Tony Farrell in round one, which I still feel like is a very minor 1% chance it was rigged. Then he beats El Nephew in round two after he screwed up in the turn. Then he beat Dan Evans in the semifinals when he goes wide in the turn. So like Tom largely has been bailed out all night if you think about it. Lyle, meanwhile, also got kind of bailed out. He beat Joe Caduso in round one. Then he lost to Pablo, but because Pablo flipped, he came back, so he got lucky there. And then he also beat Brian Bartle, but he got the massive advantage because it was U-turn style racing now. So Lyle also kind of got bailed out just as much too. It feels like a lot of ways neither of them deserved it. The driver I feel like tonight that really deserved to make the finals was Pablo. He destroyed Dennis and he destroyed Lyle, but him flipping ruined it for him. And that's why I think if he didn't flip and Thunder Alley wasn't ruined, I think he would have beaten Barlow easily in the semifinals, and then he would have cooked Tom's ass. I think that it was set up perfectly for Pablo all night.
Incredible. We've had a little problem with the track. We had to change things around. You know, it's kind of like playing poker. You never know what card you're going to get, you know, and it's like, these guys are awesome. To get it to the finals, geez, I don't even want to say. I mean, we got so many sponsors back there. You know,
he did technically, Lyle did beat two champions in the future, remember, one of them being a racing champion.
And what else to say? 4 tough trucks.
And now he's got facing the defending champion in the GOAT.
I got to tell you something, Lyle, you didn't see this because you were racing. Back here, you didn't see it at home either. Once you cross the finish line ahead of somebody, the guy you just beat, Brian Bartle and Wolverine, a guy named Tom Meents and Goldberg jumped about 5 feet in the air and said, yeah, he wants you.
Oh, I know he wants me. We've been going back and forth for a while. He's going to be tough, but I tell you what, we're going to give it everything we got. No excuses to America. America's tired of excuses. Yeah, like, they want the real deal.
On the one hand,
what it says. I'll give my best.
Lyle, I mean, Barlow is probably tougher than Lyle by Tom's eyes.
Those are worlds in the world.
But at the same time, Lyle's going to be tougher with that lane. Like, if this was back in Thunder Alley, Barlow, I mean, Tom might have maybe had a little bit of advantage. But then again, he didn't. Barlow, I mean, no, Lyle struggled a bit too.
Running that Marvel concept body. It's got it's a Wolverine character truck, and it's got a 9-inch by 0 triangular windows. And we had some problems in the track conditions. We had to change the track all around, and we went out and had to go off a flag and set off the lights. And he was gone, and the flag guy's running out my lane waving the flag, and I didn't even get to see it. So we rerun the race, and that time he won fair and square.
What about the mental aspect of it? I mean, you have the first time, you have a problem that doesn't seem fair, it isn't fair, then you go in for the second time. What did that do to you mentally?
Oh, it just got me all confused. I mean, my engine was running about 220 going to the line, and I didn't know if it was going to stay together or cool down or what it was going to do. And it ended up, it's about 300 degrees by the time I got done.
I hear you. Well, it was a tough break. It was incredible to watch. There was a rumor going around that you never even used your rear steering in the initial straightaway. Is that true?
No, I haven't been using the rear steering at all night. The track was just, the long track with all the turns was working in my favor.
That's wild to think about. That's wild he hasn't used rear steer once. That's wild.
The track went away and I lost all my edge.
Well, it was certainly a majestic performance. Mike and Scott.
Yeah, I think Barlow could have had it if he didn't screw up at the end. He was right there with Lyle. I think he could have had it. And of course, this person did a whole bunch of BS right here, which wasn't in my video, because the finals is actually going to be a couple minutes before it actually started, because it's been a few minutes. Here we go.
How come? Maybe 2.5, but I tell you what, Brian been running good here this weekend. He's had my number lately, you know, so hopefully we can get it, you know, give it all we got. That's all we can do now. I mean, there ain't no letting out, you know that. I ran a little soft that last round. I ain't gonna leave nothing on the table. So we're gonna give it all we got. It's gonna be a great final.
You say you ran soft. Blue Thunder's had this up and down evening, winning his first round, then losing, coming back because you could. Heffiker couldn't come back, Pablo, and then on top of that, you've got the problem that, you know, the restart, the water, everything else. You kind of smoothed your way through. He's had, you know, a little bit of problem here and there.
Tom been having problems all night, by and large, except when he went to U-turn.
And going one round at a time and beating who's in the other lane, you know. I can only worry about the guy I'm racing, not whoever's, you know, coming up next. So I know who I got this time, so all I can say is Lyle Hancock and Blue Thunder, you're next.
Man, I still wish. Can you imagine if Tom faced Brian Bartle? Or better yet now, imagine him facing Pablo in Thunder Alley. Oh boy, I don't think his title defense would last. I really think Bartle, and I definitely think Pablo would have had it. I'm very convinced Pablo would have won racing tonight. I wasn't before, now I am. Rewatched this twice in the last week.
And he'd love nothing more than to beat Goldberg on his last race, but I hope to God it's not going to happen.
And what do you think about the fact that Blue Thunder actually had a faster time than Goldberg?
It's all right. It's all right. It's all conjecture.
I'm actually a little surprised Lyle had a faster time.
Time doesn't mean anything until the last race.
But I thought Todd was cooking on his pass.
Do you think that's going to affect Tom Meents? Is it an advantage or a disadvantage?
You know, as you've seen so far, it's been a little bit of a disadvantage, but Tom always seems to pull it out in the end. And, you know, we've had some luck with other drivers not making it perfect runs, but you know what? A little bit of luck and a lot of talent and a heck of a lot of...
As we're getting ready to go for the finals. Just still a few more minutes ago. We've been waiting all night for this.
Thanks a lot, David. Goldberg is ready for his truck, but he's got to go against a real veteran.
As we're getting ready to go for the finals. Lyle and Tom getting ready to go. And of course, there's a preview of Lyle. Even though they showed us earlier, too, in the promo, remember, about Lyle.
Of a powerful new truck, the built Ford Tough Blue Thunder machine. He turned the monster truck world.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that Blue Thunder used more. If they bring Blue Thunder back, I want them to use that paint scheme for once. That original one, Houston 2001, like almost all black and all that. Oh, that would be so cool.
Win again on the sport's biggest night in Las Vegas.
I'm honestly debating maybe in the future if I should try and remake that on modern Ford body. I know I did a few years ago, made my custom Blue Thunder, but that was on like Blue Thunder from like the rest of 2001 all up to like 2011. This is the original Blue Thunder we're talking about.
Working on things. We can talk about it.
And of course, they did a lot of cutting right there when he was talking to El Depew, but now here we go for the finals. Lyle Hancock and Tom Meents. Will Tom get his second racing title, his second title overall, and become the first driver to defend his title, or will Lyle Hancock get revenge? Get his first racing title and first title overall? This will be interesting because both drivers do have an advantage now in U-turn. They were struggling with Thunder Alley, but U-turn style racing, they have a major advantage now. Remember, we saw them race each other in Minneapolis finals, and Tom won when Lyle flipped into the turn. And we saw Tom dominate most of the year. Lyle, when we last saw him in, not last saw him in Pontiac, but in Houston, he swept. He struggled last time, and I think they did not race. No, did they race each other? I can't remember if in Pontiac, even though it was just yesterday. I saw it, I already forgot. But man, they are ready to go.
Don't hear these motors running. That's one of the things that we do here is that they shut them down, checking out that RII.
As they're getting the trucks ready to go. This is going to be one wild finals, hopefully. Hopefully, it will be better than last year. Remember when Scott Hartsock went wide into the turn? Hopefully, Lyle and Tom will be right there together. As they are getting ready to go. Oh man, I cannot wait for this. One wild finals, hopefully.
He's fired up. And you know, he can only cross his fingers now and hope. His driver is ready to fire that engine as well. We're ready to crown a world champion here in Las Vegas.
Oh man, here we go. We've waited all year for this moment for racing. It's come down to this. Denison, Houston. Tom in Minneapolis, St. Louis, Lyle in Houston again, Tom in Atlanta, Indianapolis, New Orleans, Dennis in Houston, Barlow in Minneapolis next time, and then Tom in the last 2 races, Jacksonville and Pontiac. Both these drivers won racing at least once. Tom's won multiple times. What will happen? Will Tom hold on, or will Lyle get the win? We're about to find out. As here we go for the finals. Tom versus Lyle. It is on the line. Here we go! Down straightaway. Tom has the lead. Here we go, into the turn. Oh, what a turn by Tom. Lyle's in trouble a little bit. Tom's in the head. And Tom's going to get it. Tom's going to defend Styles. Lyle's in trouble right there. He got a penalty. He's on 2 wheels. He's going to go over. Lyle flips at the end, just like he did in Minneapolis 2001 season opener. Oh, man, what a finish. But Tom has done it. He stays undefeated in the World Finals, and he has defended his racing title. Tom is your 2-time champion. What a night for him so far. And he still has freestyle to go. As you know, he's going to want to defend and get a freestyle title now. That's going to have a tough time tonight, plus all the other drivers. What a race that was. That was much better than last year, even though Lyle did get the penalty at the end. What a wild finish that was. And I'm going to also spoil a little bit right now. That's the last time we're going to see Lyle tonight, unfortunately. Blue Thunder was not repaired in time. Scott Hartsock, remember, he broke after round 1. He also doesn't come back. And Brian Bartle, he ends up not coming back either. So we're going to lose 3 drivers tonight. And it sucks because they're really good freestylers, too. And we're going to miss out on all of them. Man, what a night.
Did you know how close Lyle Hancock was to you during the race?
I have no clue. I wasn't watching Lyle.
Oh boy, you are even a little bit more than you are now. Woo! And Bill Goldberg, do you have anything to say to him right now?
Hey, Bill, you better get a chair, because freestyle's next.
Yeah, boy. And what a night freestyle's going to be. But racing, just for today, was unbelievable. What a night it was in racing.
I'm not sure that truck's
Man.
coming back for freestyle.
Oh, all right. You're going to be like that? Let me go get that as a reminder. Okay, let me go get that. You're going to rub a plushie in my face? I'll get out my plushie. How about that? Let's see. Will Dennis defend his title in freestyle tomorrow before work? Oh, boy. That's going to be wild. I wonder if it...
Forgot his neck piece. Got to put that back on for you. Has it back out.
Oh, number 7. Wait, no, this is number 12. Yeah, Dennis, this is what you should have drove all of 2001. You should have drove number 12. You might have had a chance tonight in racing at least. You were cooking. Remember, Houston, Minneapolis, and St. Louis, other than the truck dying in Minneapolis, he made the finals twice, and he won racing against Tom we saw early in Houston. If he drove 12 tonight, I think he would have done better. He might have still had trouble against Pablo, but I think you have a much better chance. And if he could get past Pablo, oh boy, Lyle could have beaten Lyle. And Dennis has experience with U-turn. He could have maybe beaten Bartle. And then can you imagine him and Tom in the finals? Although I still think Tom would have won that. Tom was just dominant after they went to U-turn. Wow, just an insane night.
You see some of the parts coming off on it, back up on 4 wheels, but you know what? Tom Metz had some competition in that final run.
Lyle gave him the actual strongest competitive, strongest challenge, even though he got the penalty.
You and this truck possibly could.
I didn't spare nothing. I didn't give nothing. I didn't take nothing. But I took it clear up there. And you know what? That was probably the closest race of the night. I could see him out his window.
Nah, you got Jim Kohler and Gary Porter, remember?
Look at each other. I gave it everything it had. I knew what the repercussion was going to be. I didn't care. We're going to the finals. We're there with him. We ran with him. He beat me. He didn't beat me by much. And I know what?
Well, technically, Lyle, he beat you by a blowout since you did get the penalty. You didn't line up straight on the cars, and that's what led to your flip, too.
All right, let's go right now to Kate with Bill Goldberg himself.
Bill, I said you were watching the race and the competition a little bit more than Tom Metz was.
Goodness, what a race that was.
You know, he gave it all he had. There's no question.
A lot better than last year, even though Lyle had the penalty. That sucks, but Good job for Lyle making it that far, despite all the screw-ups.
Every single time they start the engine, they give it 110%. And as a fan, how could you ask for anything more?
What are you most proud of?
Man,
Tom Meents
just
and his drive?
what a dominant race performance. Brian Barlow got the #1 qualifier, and we had some wild moments tonight in racing. Pablo flipping into the dumpsters, the water main break happened, causing them to change the lanes, and in the end, it benefited the GOAT, Tom Meents. Once that lane changed, the U-turn, he cooked. He was just unstoppable. Like, I'll stand by what I said before. If Pablo didn't break, and if the lane never got messed up, I think Barlow would have beaten Tom, but I'm more convinced that Pablo would have won race tonight. He would have cooked Bartle, and he would have cooked Meents, and that would probably been one of the most deserved racing titles in a long time. He beat champion after runner-up champion, another future champion, and a Hall of Famer. Even though he's a Hall of Famer himself, too. You see the replay. Just unfortunate for Lyle. That's the last time we're going to see him tonight. Man, that sucks.
From the World Finals race. Lyle Hancock was going to leave nothing behind. But you know what I found kind of interesting? Little difference in stories there. Lyle says Tom looked him right in the eye at the turn. Tom says, I didn't see him. I was just going.
Yeah, and somebody had hinted tonight that Lyle Hancock might be retiring at the end of this year.
Yeah, Bill Goldberg said that.
He'll be right back in that built Ford Tough truck, Blue Thunder, next year. Well, we're getting ready for freestyle coming up here.
Yep, next up is freestyle, but we're going to leave it off right there as that's next time. All right, guys, what a wild night it was for racing. Brian Bartle, #1 qualifier, but Tom Meents defended his title, and now he's going to try and get the first double down in the World Finals. But that's going to be another day. That's tomorrow. For the 25th anniversary, I am going to enjoy freestyle, and you're all going to see me go full Monster Jam Lord and actually earn it. All right, guys, tune in tomorrow for freestyle.